We're going to start with showing you a production-ready rig that is using bones, IK, FK, control objects, and expressions, wire parameters, and just about everything else to make it work. The character is designed using bones that have been modeled using an edit mesh modifier. This means that the model can be simulated with the bones. I don't tend to use this for skinning purposes, but more for having a volume represented by the bones. This means you can hide the high resolution geometry and use the bones for animation, speeding up the rig and making it very fast to work with. Situated around the character, easy to grab places, are all the control objects. These control objects are all spline objects or shapes. This is how I like to work, because just changing to shapes filter means that all you can grab in the character are the control objects. This is how this entire DVD series will be set up. All controls will always be splines. First chapter is going to be dealing with the spinal column. This is basically broken into the lower spine, which is the hip area, the upper spine, which is from the waist up to the neck, and the neck and head section. I tend to think of them as very separate entities for animation purposes. The reason for this is posing. When an animator wants to work with a character, they like to pose a character. So they might adjust the hip area and get the angle of the hip the way they like. When they move up the character and want to pose the next piece of the character, they don't want to end up affecting the area that they've just posed the way they like. So the next section up, the midsection of the body here, shouldn't affect the hip area when you're trying to pose it. Further up the shoulder, you'll notice when I pose the shoulder, it doesn't affect the waist or the hips. I can simply pose it. And again, the head as well. I can pose the head to where I want. This rig has been set up in sort of bidirectionally. You can also go back down the chain in the same way. Picking the shoulder control now, you'll notice I can change the attitude of the shoulders, but the attitude of the head doesn't change either. Neither does the attitude of the waist. So this means I can spend my time trying to get the shoulders looking in the direction I want, without affecting the head or the waist that I already prefer. And again, with the waist, you'll see that the shoulder area tries to keep its focus on whatever it's been looking at. And again, of course, down to the waist. This makes it far easier for animators to pose a character and get what they're looking for. Spend more of their time working on timing issues than trying to fight a rig that's been put together that every time you change one part of it, it changes another part. When we move on to the ogre, we're going to be using the same type of setup as that was used in this character. The character we'll be using for this whole series of DVDs will be an ogre character that I created specifically for this. I designed this character to have a few problems in mind. One, obviously muscle structure. Two, the size and the bulk of the character. And three, just his overall stance. He's a big ogre. His knees are spread out. His legs are spread out. For this chapter, we're just going to be dealing with the spinal column. And as you saw earlier, we're going to be working with an FK system that will have actually a twist-off method to it. First, a couple of discussions about character setup in Max. One of the things you need to remember is that you should always do all your rigging and skinning below mesh smooth. Essentially, all the skinning should happen below it. So we don't even need mesh smooth on. For one, it's going to slow down the interface drastically. Size of character matters a lot. You should never ever scale a rig in any way, shape, or form, even in a uniform fashion. I do it during animation sometimes to cheat heights of characters, but then it's in a controllable environment. You should always start your characters with a scale factor that is basically at 111 or 100% scale factor. Using the reset X form utility is the best way to make sure that